What's up, everyone? My name is Wes. This is Interactive English. And in case this is your first time here, let me just tell you, Interactive English, we are all about helping you practice and improve your English. And today, we have a fun little quiz. So this is really going to be an interactive lesson because I am going to give you a quiz and I want you to tell me the answers, all right? So we're going to see how much you know about idioms. I'm going to give you a quiz on idioms. And I will say that I think that these are common idioms. So after this lesson, in the comments, I want you to tell me how many you got correct, because that way I know maybe next time I will make them a bit more challenging. I wanted to start with some common idioms because, again, these are the idioms that you are most likely to hear and the idioms that you will most likely use when you're having a conversation with somebody else. So I want to give a quick shout out to those of you who are with us right now. I want to say hello to Siddharth, Andre, Barbara, Little Provian. Hi, how's it going? Saeed, Barbara, I can't read it from Crete, Greece. Hey, what's up? Huda, Anne, Lata, Isaac. Yes, thank you guys for joining me. Just wanted to give you guys a quick shout out, some recognition. Thank you for joining me, and let's just get into it. The first thing I want to tell you, though, in case you're watching this and you're like, what the heck are idioms, all right? Just so you know, a quick little warm-up, all right? An idiom, it's a group of words which have a different meaning when they're together, when they're put together, than they would if you just take the meaning of each separate word. So, for example, here's my example, under the weather. So if you think of weather, then you think of rain, snow, sunshine, and if you're under it, then maybe you're just standing under it. I don't know, like this little guy under the cloud. But no. That's not what it means. When we use this together, under the weather, it means that you feel sick. And right now, I would tell you, just to give you an example, right now I'm feeling a little bit under the weather. It's true. It's nothing bad. I just need some more vitamin C, perhaps a little more sleep, and then I won't feel under the weather anymore. But this is a good example of an idiom, and a common one too, that you might hear often if you're watching a TV movie under the weather. So I'm going to give you the quiz, and if you are with us in the chat, I want you guys to write your answers in the chat and play along, because this is Interactive English. We want you to interact with us. That's what it's all about. Even if you're watching this later, I want you to take the quiz, write your answers in the comments, and then at the end, tell me how you did, because I want to hear from you guys. So these idioms, some of them I will give you the meaning, and you need to identify the idiom. Others are just gap fills, and you need to complete the idiom, like what word finishes the idiom. So let's get into it, all right? Are you guys ready? You know your idioms, all right? Let's see how much you know of these common idioms. So the first question is right here, all right? A in disguise means a good thing that seemed bad at first. So how would you complete that idiom? I've highlighted the idiom in red. Well, it's kind of a shade of red. In disguise. Is it a favor in disguise? A blessing in disguise? A coincidence in disguise? Or a mask in disguise? What word completes that idiom? It means a good thing that seemed bad at first. Okay? So again, we talk about this situation. Often idioms will summarize like a situation and capture something, and in disguise. All right, excellent, thank you. Great, Miriam, Kim, Alejandro, Giselle, great. Yes, you are B, a blessing in disguise. So a blessing in disguise is a good thing that seemed bad at first. So here is my situation to help you try to understand it a little bit more. Losing my job was really a blessing in disguise, because then I never would have moved across the country and met the love of my life. So if you lose your job, that's a bad thing. But then maybe you move across the country, you're going to start over, you're going to start new, and you meet the love of your life, and you live happily ever after. So then you could look back and look at that situation and say, losing my job, that was a blessing in disguise. It was a bad thing, but good things came out of it. It was good in the end, all right? The next question. All right, are you guys ready? I think you guys did well on that one. This one, I just want you to tell me the meaning. Let's call it a day. So you need to put it in context. Unfortunately, I didn't give you much context here because I've just given you the statement. Let's call it a day. What does that mean? Does it mean let's watch the sunset? Does it mean let's proceed with your plans? Does it mean let's stop working on something? Or let's shout loudly in public? What would you guys say? A, B, C, or D? Write your answers in the chat, or if you're watching this later, just write it in the comments, all right? I just want to hear from you guys. So if somebody says, let's call it a day, yes, be happy, Veronica, Alejandro, Little Povien, Miriam, Kim, Ira, perfect. C is the answer. You want to stop working on something. To call it a day means you don't want to work anymore. You want to finish whatever it is you're doing, and you'll call it a day. And this is a very common idiom that you will hear, and these are just expressions you would use it with. Someone like the first one, I'd say, let's call it a day. Let's stop working. Or you'd say, time to call it a day. It's time to stop and finish what you're doing. Or maybe you'd say, we'd better call it a day. We had better call it a day. We had better stop working. We've done enough. We don't need to work anymore. Let's call it a day. But right now, we are not going to call it a day. I have more questions for you, so let's continue. And I want you to, this one's really context. You need to identify the entire idiom, all right? That's a good example. Be happy. I'm really exhausted. Let's call it a day. Sure. So I'm a bit tired. I'm going to go, all right? So think about the situation, all right? I'm a bit tired. I'm going to go what? What are you going to do? What idiom are you going to do if you are a bit tired? Are you going to hit the sack? Are you going to take a sack? Are you going to hit the pillow or take the pillow? I meant to say take the sack in B. Those should all be the. But since I'm a bit tired and I'm feeling under the weather, that was a typo. So what do you guys think? All right. If I say, I'm a bit tired, I'm going to go, or again, I'd reduce it and say, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go, what? What do you think? Hit the sack, take the pillow, hit the pillow, or take the pillow. And we see a little differences in this. Yes, most of you, excellent. Ronan, Luca, Izzy, Lali, Attila, Arshma, perfect. I want to try and give you guys some shout outs if I see your name. Sorry if I mispronounce your names or don't see everybody, but yes, the answer is A, hit the sack. So if you're going to go to sleep and you're tired and you want to say that you're going to go to sleep, you're going to hit the sack. In this case, the sack is just talking about the bed or wherever it is that you're going to go lie down. And here are some sentences so you can put the idiom in context. If you say, it's been such a long day, I'm going to go hit the sack, which means I'm just going to go to sleep. Or you might say, maybe you've been traveling for a really long time and you'd say this, I'm just going to go hit the sack as soon as we get there. As soon as we get there, I'm going to go hit the sack. And I think it's commonly used with going to go, talking about something you will do, that you will go to sleep. You're going to hit the sack. I'm going to go hit the sack. All right, so that one is C. And I just want to give another little shout out, basically a quick shout out to ourselves. If you guys like what we do and you want to support what we do, we have some cool rewards on Patreon. You can check that out. I will leave a link in the description and you can go check out our Patreon page. If you guys haven't seen it or you haven't been there, let me just hook it up right here in the chat. Right there. So again, you can check that out. It's another great way to connect with us. And that's what this community is all about, us trying to connect with you guys on a little more personal level and communicate with you. So let's continue the quiz. Are you guys ready? Hopefully, again, these are common idioms. So if you think they're a little easy, don't worry about it. That's okay. Just tell me that you did perfect at the end, and then I'll know, okay, I need to make them a little more difficult. So this one is a common phrase. It's also a common expression, all right? Ignorance is, What would you say? How would you complete that? This expression means that someone is better off not knowing. What do you think? All right, write your answers in the chat. Somebody said, hey, Wes, I brought some students to watch this live. Excellent. What's up, guys? I'm glad that you I love it when groups get to watch these lessons. Perfect. So what's the express? This is a common phrase that you will hear. Ignorance is, I gave you the meaning. Somebody is better off not knowing. So in this situation, what would you say? Ignorance is bliss? Ignorance is happiness? Ignorance is tolerated? Or ignorance is awesome? What would you say? I think most of you guys got this. Yes, Francisco, what's up? Ruskar, Ira, Gurvir, yes, Barbara. Who else do we have? Because it just keeps scrolling through. Sarah, excellent. The answer is A. Ignorance is bliss. And it's usually a standalone sentence, and you're just talking about the situation. So you're not really using it with a lot of other words. You're just capturing it and saying, ignorance is bliss. So here is a situation like, I'm your friend and your boss. I don't want to know about your devious plan. I'd say ignorance is bliss. So for example, because we're friends, but I'm also your boss, all right? You're going to do something that, might not be wrong, but because I'm your boss, I don't want to know about it. Don't tell me. I don't want to know because I don't want to get in trouble. You do whatever it is you're going to do, and I'll just say ignorance is bliss. It's better for me not to know. So I hope that makes sense. I hope that's easy to follow. And if that's the situation you're talking about, like, look, I'm better off not knowing. Ignorance is bliss. Very common phrase that you might hear. All right, next one. All right, and even if you guys don't know these, I encourage you, write an answer in there. Even if you don't know, it's great to just practice. And again, it's all about interacting, is what this is all about. Ready? Once we land in New York City, our plans are really up in the air. So that is the idiom. Up in the air, that is the idiom, and I want you to identify the meaning. What do you think it means? Does it mean that things are uncertain? Does it mean that your plans are complete and very busy? Maybe your plans are canceled. I don't know. Or maybe their plans are always changing. What is the meaning of up in the air? So if you say that something is up in the air, it means what? All right, excellent. I see some great answers. Yes, Saba, Miriam, Ruska, Francisco, Kevin. Who else? Olivia, Kim, Veronica, Esther. Yes. The answer is A. If things are up in the air, then you're basically saying that things are uncertain, unsure, or not planned. You don't know what's going to happen, and you could say, well, it's up in the air. I think often that it's used when you're talking about your plans. And somebody say, oh, what are you going to do? And you're like, well, I don't know. Our plans are up in the air. We don't know what's going to happen. Things are uncertain. I've given you another example here. I'd say, she hasn't decided who to hire. So she's going to make a decision, but at the moment, the decision is really up in the air. The decision is not planned, it's unsure. So this is another example about how you can use this idiom, but most of the time it's used to talk about somebody's plans, like things they're going to do up in the air. All right, the next question, next idiom, challenge, question is this. Don't do anything until you hear from me. I want you to, all right? And this is the full idiom. What does it mean? If this is your situation, this is your context, I don't want you to do anything until you hear from me. I want you to, I want you to sit tight. I want you to stay still. I want you to stay up. Or no, sorry. First one was sit firm. Or D, I want you to sit tight. So what does this mean? If it says, I don't want you to do anything until you hear from me, I want you to what? Sit firm, stay still, stay up, or sit tight. What do you guys think? Write your answer in the chat, or again, write to us in the comments, even if you're writing this later. I really want to see how well you guys are doing. And I think this is one that I use from time to time because it really addresses a certain situation. In this situation, you're telling somebody something specific. What would you do? We got some different answers, but yes. Yes, Ronan, Miriam, Lynn, Gervir, Ruskar. Yes, the answer is D. I want you to sit tight. So when somebody tells you to sit tight, they are asking you to wait patiently and take no action until you hear otherwise. You need to wait for instructions. You need to wait for somebody to tell you what to do. So for example, and most of the time somebody would just tell you, like, it's a command. Sit tight. Just sit tight. You need to sit tight. And when somebody tells you to sit tight, it just means just wait patiently, and then somebody will tell you some instructions, what you need to do. You need to sit tight and wait until I call you. So in this situation, you have to wait for that phone call, all right? Wait for that phone call. You need to sit tight. And again, it's very specific. It's a great idiom to use if you want them not to do anything until you tell them to do something. Tell them to sit tight. All right, the next one, the next idiom question is this. All right. Again, this is a fill in the blank. So the idiom is in red. The expression is in red, and there's a blank. A rule of What is it? How would you complete this idiom? A rule of means a general, unwritten rule for whatever they're talking about. All right? Are we talking about a rule of fact, a rule of secrets, a rule of thumb, or a rule of law? What do you guys think? A, B, C, or D? And again, if you're just joining us, we're taking a quick little quiz. We're doing an idiom quiz. I want to test your knowledge of these common English idioms. And again, I think these are common idioms. These are very common idioms. So write your answer in the chat. I want to hear from you guys. All right, so getting some different answers in here. Let's see what we got. What do we have? So yes, all right, excellent. Atik, Miriam, Abdel, Ronan. Who else we got? Wait, skip through. It keeps going down. You guys are answering so quickly. Perfect. Akhtar, Sarah, Giselle, Imate, Asma, Sul. Perfect. So the answer is C. If you're talking about a general rule, we refer to it as a rule of thumb. All right? Rule of thumb. Just like that like button down below, a thumb. If you guys enjoy these quizzes, hit that like button so that I know, like, okay, I need to do more quizzes like this. We need more idiom quizzes, vocabulary quizzes, grammar quizzes, because this is a great way, especially it's very interactive. I really like them. So a rule of thumb is a general unwritten rule for whatever it is that they're talking about, or whatever it is you're talking about. So you're telling somebody, like, okay, here's a general rule of thumb. All right, so here's my example. In language learning, there's usually a general rule of thumb for many different things. I'd say, okay, here's a general rule of thumb. With spelling, put I before E except after C. So it rhymes a little, and this is actually a rule of thumb. Put I before E except after C. So if you're trying to think like, oh, the word receive, how do I spell that? Which comes first, E or I? So it's after C, so we do R-E-C-E-I-V-E. Now compare that to the word preview. Which one comes first, I or E? P-R-E-V-I-E-W. So that's something to remember, all right? Put I before E except after C. So if you're writing a message to somebody and you're thinking, oh, what comes first, I or E? Remember this. Remember this rule of thumb right here. This is a good one. This is a good one. All right, so here is your next idiom question. I don't know if it's possible. We may have to take a rain check. So that's your idiom right there. Take a rain check. What do you think it means? All right, what do you guys think that means? Take a rain check. I don't know if this is used in British English as much. I think, again, most of these idioms, they're definitely American English. I think in British English, they would use most of them because, again, these are just common English idioms. So what does it mean? Take a rain check. Does it mean to postpone a plan? Does it mean to make another plan? Does it mean to go with the second option, option number 2? Or does it mean to cancel your plans? If you say, hey, I'm going to take a rain check, all right? Wow, you guys are really rocking that one. Just quick on the draw, that one. Be happy. Yes, Ruskar Lali, Shamdina, Alejandro Gervu, Sara Sul, Izzy, perfect. Yes, so to take a rain check, if you tell someone you want to take a rain check, it means you want to postpone the plan. You don't want to do it right now. Maybe you'll do it later. So you want to take a rain check, postpone a plan. And my little image right there, I tried to write it like as if it was real, all right? You talk about rain clouds and it's raining little checks, all right? That doesn't exist. So to take a rain check means to postpone a plan. I will tell you this. I think culturally, when people say like, I'll take a rain check, sometimes they're saying it sarcastically like, okay, we're not going to do that. That's never going to happen. But yeah, I'll take a rain check. So for example, like in this case, it might be real. It's like, oh, I can't meet you to dinner tonight. I'll have to take a rain check. Sorry, maybe next time we'll postpone it and we will do it in the future. We will do it later. I can't meet you for dinner tonight. I'll take a rain check. Now, in this situation is what I was talking about. Somebody says it and they mean it like, okay, it's never going to happen. So if somebody's inviting you to a wedding and you say, whoa, wait, you want me to come to your friend's sister's nephew's wedding. I'm not going to know anybody. Then you might say, yeah, I think I'm going to have to take a rain check. Basically, you're just telling them, no, I'm not going to go because it's a wedding. You can't really postpone that plan. So in that situation, you're telling them, you're using take a rain check, but saying, yeah, I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to do these plans. I am going to take a rain check. Great idiom. I love it. Love it, love it, love it. Next one. All right. If you really want it, you have to work for it. And then you would follow it with this expression, all right? It summarizes that statement, that conditional sentence. This phrase summarizes it. If you really want it, you have to work for it. What would you say? The entire expression, the entire idiom, and it's often used as a standalone expression. Would you say no pain, no gain? No rain, no gain? No pain, no brain? Or no rain, no brain? What would you think? All right, this is a good one. I like this. I think this is a bit more common. All right, if you really want it, you have to work for it. What would you say to complete that sentence? All right, again, if you guys are just joining us, we are taking an idiom quiz. I am testing your knowledge of some English idioms. So yes, you guys, again, rock that one. Thank you. Perfect. Kevin, Riska, Allah, Seda, snake venom. Perfect. Excellent. Love it. Tiffany, you would say A. Esther, excellent job. No pain, no gain. So if you have to work for something that you really want, all right, it's something that's difficult. So because it's difficult, it's going to cause pain. But once it's done, then you are going to achieve your goal, which means, again, if there's no pain, then you're not going to gain any value out of it, is basically what it's saying. And we just shorten it together and say, no pain, no gain, all right? So, for example, in these sentences, I might say, finishing the marathon will be difficult. I have not done it yet. And I can summarize it and say, no pain, no gain. I am going to have the physical pain, but in the end, I will finish, and maybe I'll just feel good about myself. Or in this case, you're talking about, this construction project is a huge undertaking. It is a huge project. It's going to take a lot of time, a lot of energy, a lot of money, and you say, no pain, no gain. You have to work for it if you really want it. All right? So, excellent, excellent, excellent. Let's do the next one. Ready? Here it is. If something is over someone's it means beyond their understanding or too difficult for them to understand. So again, I'm giving you part of the idiom. I want you to complete that blank. Over someone's what? Over my over your over their What does it mean? Yeah, actually, you know what it means. It's too difficult for them to understand, and yeah, it's beyond their understanding. What would you say? Is it over someone's shoulder, over someone's head, over someone's brain, or over someone's mind? How would you complete that idiom? Let's see. What do you guys think? I'm seeing some good answers. Well, let's see. All right, some different answers in this one. Maybe this one's a little trickier, all right? But yes, Atik, Saba, Milan. Hi, Milan. What else do we have? Who else got it? Well, I don't know that name. It's somebody from Thailand, I think. So excellent, good job, Giselle. And then again, I don't know that name. I think not sure where they're from. Maybe I know you told me you wrote comments before, and I know you just told me. Sorry, I forgot. Write me a comment. Let me know your name. Yes. Perfect. Olivia, Tiffany. So this one, if it's too difficult to understand, the answer is B. It's over someone's head. So if something, you don't get it, you don't understand it, and maybe you should understand it, and you're like, it's over my head. It's too difficult to comprehend. So this situation, it's often used when talking about jokes. Maybe because sometimes a joke, a person might not understand it. Wes didn't understand the joke. It went right over my head, right over his head. So if something goes over your head, then you don't understand it. And, again, it could be a joke. It could be a story that somebody's telling you and you just don't get it. You don't understand what they're saying and it goes over your head. Or maybe even a subject. Something is very difficult. Quantum physics, all right? That's definitely over my head. I don't understand it. It's too difficult for me to understand. It's over my head. All right, so again, another great idiom that you guys can now go out and try to use. And again, this is idioms are very much for informal speech. So you are going to hear them if you are watching movies or you are just on the streets in the United States. You might hear people speak and use idioms. Even in the classroom, before I started teaching or when I started teaching, I just realized I use idioms quite often. I use them quite a bit. So I think they're great to learn, if anything, for your listening comprehension, so you guys can at least understand what somebody's saying. And if you want to try and practice and use them, I think that's great. But I know sometimes they can be a little more challenging to use because of the grammar. So again, thank you guys. I hope this lesson was not over your head. All right? So if you enjoyed this lesson, if you understood it, then just tell me that. Write that in the comments. Say, this was not over my head, all right? And tell me how many of these answers you got, all right? How many did you get correct? So again, thank you guys so much for joining me. If you enjoyed this quiz, you can let me know that by hitting that like button down below, so I know that we should do more of these idiom quizzes, vocabulary quizzes. Write us questions in the comments and tell me how many of these did you get correct, and say, hey, it was not over my head. I rock that one. You can also check us out here on social media. And, oh, by the way, another great way to connect with us is to join our other interactive English community and subscribe to our newsletter. Let me leave you guys a link right here. Ba-boom. Bam. All right. So check that out. It's another good way for us to communicate. We send you free resources and you will get access to the secret fluency lesson. Ooh, it's a secret. All right. Thank you guys so much. Let me give some more shout outs for those of you who are here. Sul, Giselle, Rizka, Ala. Oh, first time. Excellent. We're glad to have you here. Sadia, thank you. All right. Let's see. Xin Yu, are you type some sin using Chinese? Are you from China? No, I'm not from China. I'm from the United States. Snake Venom, thank you. Be happy. Thank you guys for joining me. Saya, Sai, Ira, Fanny, Rizka, Kevin, Saba, Fernando, Olivia. Thank you guys so much. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day, and I will see you very soon. All right? So long.